Well, hello everybody. I am Jim Cook, the current chair, and I welcome you all to the AGM of the London branch of the RSCDS. Alas, for a second time and hopefully for the last time, we are holding a Zoom meeting. I trust that you have all seen such relevant papers as the agenda, last year's AGM minutes, accounts and branch report, which have all been available on the branch website. The meeting is open to anybody, but of course only branch members should participate in any voting. In the course of the meeting, proposers and seconders for the various components will be requested, and you may volunteer by clicking on the little hands up symbol, which you should see at the bottom of your screen. Also, any questions can be forwarded via the similarly located Q&A symbol. A chat facility is available if you wish to talk with friends, but remember to select all attendees rather than just panelists if you want everyone to see your comments. We shall keep the chat option open for 20 minutes after all the proceedings have taken place. So let us begin, and I pass over to Mel Rowland, our branch secretary, to advise of any apologies for absence and to take us through the minutes of the last meeting. Thank you, Mel.
Thank you, Jim. Yes, thank you. So first of all, I have a number of apologies to read out. They come from Elaine Davis, Jenny Green, Mary Baker, Rosemary Tilden, June and Brian Rose, Judith Jones, George Potts, Iris Anderson, Jan Collins, and Angela Young. And before we move on to the minutes, I just wanted to ask that if there are any of you that are two of you or more that are logged into the same computer, would you mind putting the names of all of the people logged into the computer into our chat function at the bottom of the screen? And this will give us a clearer record of how many people we have attending the meeting. So if you could just add your names at the chat function at the bottom of the screen. Thank you very much. So I now turn to the approval of the minutes of last year's AGM on the 19th of September. Hopefully everyone has had the chance to read the minutes of last year's AGM because they've been uploaded on the website for a few weeks. If anyone has any comments of the accuracy of the minutes, then please could you use the question and answer function. I've already seen that Alan and Hamish, you've already added a comment about both being branches of members of the London branch. So thank you for adding that comment. No? Okay, so if there's no further comments, could I ask someone to propose and someone to second the minutes, please? So if you could use the raise hand function at the bottom of the screen to indicate whether you'd be happy to propose or second the minutes. Thank you. So I see that Katie Kendall, thank you very much, has raised her hand.
And there's two others.
And two others as well. Yes, thank you. I made a note of that. Thank you very much.
And Archibald and Stephen. I think that's, I'm guessing that's Stephen Webb.
Yeah, thank you. Lovely. Okay, thank you very much. We've made a note of that. So can I now ask all members to indicate your approval of the minutes by voting in the poll? Okay, thank you. So we seem to have, thank you very much. 100% approval of the minutes. So thank you very much for that. Thank you.
That's excellent. And are there any matters arising? If anybody wishes to say something, do please use the Q&A. We'll just give you a few seconds.
Yes, Elizabeth Bennett has raised her hand. If those who had their hands raised previously could put them down again, we can see who's a new hand. Elizabeth Bennett's just raised her hand. But I'm not quite sure if she wants to say something.
So, I take it there are no matters arising. So, moving on to the report on the branch activities for 2020-2021. Hopefully you may have seen the report which was available on the website, but we shall go through it now. The COVID-19 pandemic has of course impacted on our activities, with no dances, classes or family events taking place during this period. However, the committee has continued to function and plan for the future with regular Zoom committee meetings. The branch has kept in touch with members throughout the emergency. The reel has continued to be published, and the branch has also hosted Zoom entertainments with music, dance and quizzes. The first of these took place on the occasion of the 2020 branch AGM, followed by events at Christmas, Burns Night, as well as the Spring from Home event, which took place on the evening when the combined societies dance would have occurred. These were virtually well attended and enjoyed as shown by the letters of gratitude which have been received relating to both the reel and these Zoom events. Turning to membership statistics, at the end of March, our membership totaled 435. This breaks down as follows: 281 annual members, which includes 4 juniors aged 12 to 17 and 1 young adult aged 18 to 24. It also breaks down with 66 life members and 88 second branch members. Of these, 200 people have opted to receive the reel electronically, and a further 63 receive the electronic link in addition to a paper copy. Alas, there is a continuing trend of declining membership. In 2022, we shall be working to retrieve those members, as it is likely that, with no classes and events this last season, a number of people have allowed their membership to lapse. Hopefully they will rejoin once we are able to dance again. And the clouds appear to be lifting, so in anticipation that circumstances will indeed allow a resumption of activities after the branch AGM, our conveners have drawn up plans for a resumption of classes and dances from September 2021. Lockdown has offered the opportunity for us to think about the future and how to reach out to a broader audience. Our members' survey has suggested areas for change for the future. For example, a future youth class is being considered. On the administrative front, our treasurer, Simon Wales, is considering the implications for the branch to accept payments for classes and dances by credit and debit card, a procedure which many of us have become better acquainted thanks to the pandemic. Watch this space. Meanwhile, we plan to revive our deferred 90th, come 91st, anniversary celebrations, starting with the garden celebration on the 3rd of July 2021, followed by our ball on the 16th of October 2021. Priorities for the 2021-22 season will therefore be: 1. Rebuilding and reinvigorating our membership base. 2. Celebrating the branch's 90th anniversary. 3. Developing classes for younger dancers. 4. Modernising payment methods. 5. Digitisation of our archives. I would like to thank our conveners and supporting committee for all they have done. Special thanks go to Vice Chair Joanne Lawrence, Secretary Mel Rowland, and Treasurer Simon Wales. Thanks also go to those who carry out non-executive roles. Margaret Katchik, looking after our day school and 90th anniversary events. Meryl Thompson, our webmaster. Gaynor Curtis, looking after our membership and subscribers. Simon Wales, Willie Lawrence and Edward Bunting, our Real editorial team. Jeff Robertson, our Real business editor. Thank you all for keeping our interest alive and for stoically coping with the disappointments of seeing their past planning of events either cancelled or rescheduled thanks to COVID-19. Ending on a happy note, the branch is pleased to announce branch awards to Joanne Lawrence, Meryl and Ian Thompson, and Stephen Webb in recognition of their outstanding contributions to the work of the branch. So bear with me a second while I just shuffle my papers and we'll look at the branch awards. Bear with me a second. Right, so I can announce the awards, but of course at a Zoom meeting like this, it is somewhat difficult to affect the actual presentation of physical certificates. So the actual presentations must await a future event, such as the garden party scheduled for the 3rd of July, although we wait with bated breath to see if Boris will definitely push the freedom date of 21st of June into the future. This may impact on the plan, but that is a worry for the future. But firstly, Joanne. And Joanne, you can see her picture on the screen. I have a citation here for you. Joanne enthusiastically became Vice Chair of the branch in 2020 after the recreation of this post. Soon thereafter, Joanne was instrumental in the creation of a new formal communications subcommittee, for which she immediately became convener. Prime responsibilities cover overseeing the publishing of the branch's quarterly Real magazine, plus more frequent branch e-updates, and liaising with our webmaster, who is responsible for the branch's website. The aforementioned frequent e-updates with their news and special articles have been invaluable in keeping in touch with the membership during the pandemic. During this COVID-19 period, Joanne has become our Zoom master, ensuring that committee meetings can continue to take place by Zoom. In addition, Zoom became the launchpad for a number of special branch Zoom events, which have provided dancers around the world with entertaining programs of dance, music, dance history, and quizzes. Speaking as the chair, Joanne's conscientiousness, enthusiasm, and ability has been invaluable at this difficult period for the branch and the world. So thank you very much, Joanne. Now bear with me a second. If I line this up with the this will be the certificate that will be presented to you at the first available opportunity. So thank you for all that you've done, Joanne. And moving on to Stephen. Do we have Stephen on screen?
I'm not sure how to get on screen.
You are, Stephen. You are there.
Stephen.
Oh,
Yes.
But you are there, that is good. So welcome, Stephen. So hang on, let me just get my next piece of paper. So Stephen, since its creation, Stephen is commended for his enthusiastic and conscientious contribution to the Real editorial team. His duties included the canvassing and the editing of material in accordance with the strict deadlines associated with the publication of the branch's quarterly Real magazine. This task became even more challenging when the epidemic impacted on the amount of readily available material, but standards were maintained. Stephen's attendance at events armed with his camera guaranteed excellent pictures for the Real. Stephen enthusiastically commissioned a new dance competition to coincide with the branch's 90th anniversary year, albeit the COVID-19 pandemic arrived and sadly impacted on the outstanding final judging for obvious reasons. The branch hereby thanks Stephen for all that he has achieved and wishes him a happy retirement from the Real editorial team after so many years. I understand Stephen wishes to say a few words.
if I could, just no more than a minute, I promise.
Right.
Especially for Joanne. Could I just thank the branch for this award? I feel honoured to join past friends such as John and Wilson. Although being a member since 1973, I've always thought Hugh Foss's brainchild, The Reel, to be very special. So it was a privilege to be copy editor with amazing support from Meryl and Ian. My criteria were based on the dual imperatives of promoting Scottish country dancing and the London branch. Every decision we made focused on presentation and accurate quality content. Of course, I was very grateful to have had some excellent contributors from Scotland and around the world who were very willing to write the most interesting articles. A final thought: The Reel is a magazine that one can return to read time and time again, and to search out this or that, which I hope you will all do. Thank you again.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I just hold up the certificate. Hopefully you can see that, but this is the certificate which we shall look forward to presenting to you personally at the first available opportunity.
Thank you, Jim.
Now I turn to Meryl and Ian Thompson, where there is, I'm afraid, good news and bad news. Do we have Meryl and Ian on camera?
Yes.
Are they there? Hang on.
They are, Jim.
They are. Okay, that's great. So let me start with the bad news. Oh dear. The bad news is that RSCDS rules preclude people receiving 2 such official RSCDS awards, even if their exceptional service continues over a long time. So what to do with Meryl and Ian, who have already received such an award? Well, if it had been possible to award them with a second official award, their citation would have read as follows. Since its creation, Meryl and Ian are commended for their ongoing enthusiastic and conscientious contributions to the Reel editorial team. Their participation includes the management of the computerized publishing aspects associated with the quarterly publication of the Reel. This includes the development of an electronic version with interactive add-ons, which is produced in parallel with the traditional printed version. Also, the branch greatly benefits from Meryl's and Ian's flair and ability in their role as webmaster of the branch's extensive website. Their timely and accurate attention to detail in ensuring that the website is kept up to date is invaluable to the branch, especially as a way of keeping in touch with members at this difficult time for us all. The branch hereby thank Meryl and Ian for all that they continue to do for the branch and the Reel editorial team after so many years. But I did say there was good news. So thanks to our artistic supremo, Thelma Jane Robb, a unique branch certificate of our own has been devised, and a copy has already been emailed to Meryl and Ian with all our thanks. And you can see Meryl and Ian are holding it up there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And I shall be visiting Meryl and Ian at their home on Monday week, when I shall effect a proper presentation of a framed certificate on behalf of you all. And I look forward to seeing you, Meryl and Ian, on that occasion.
Likewise.
Yes, at the moment you're on holiday in your caravan, I think.
We are, yes.
Whereabouts
yes.
are you located?
We're down in the Wittering, so sort of
down
south
that
of
way.
Chichester. Yeah,
Oh,
so
right.
arrived there late this morning, so chilling out.
Oh, excellent. Oh, enjoy your time there.
Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you.
So now I'd like people to propose and second the approval of that report. If you could perhaps click on the hands up symbol if you would like to do so. Are we getting any response?
Yes, you got 4 there straight away.
We know 2 names.
Gail Bignell, Christina Vargas, the first 2 I saw.
Okay, and will we have a little, here's the poll. So if you would like to formally vote now. And here are the results. Oh, thank goodness it's 100%. Excellent. So at this point, let me hand over to Joanne for the results of the members' survey. Over to you, Joanne.
Thanks very much, Jim. Well, I'm not going to make you look at the tiny charts, but I'll go swiftly to a larger version. And thank you very much to the 89 people who took the time to fill in either a paper or an online survey. It really has given an invaluable source of information that we can work together with all members of the branch to develop in the future. So, where do we live and what do we do? 54% of us live in central or greater London, and 68% have been dancing for more than 20 years. That actually undersells the amount of dancing that's been done. Most people in that 68% have been dancing for at least 40 years and dancing a lot. We asked how often people danced, and 69% dance once a week or more pre-COVID. And I'm sure everybody's just really looking forward to getting back out there and dancing again. How do we get to events? More than 40% of us drive, but we're also very heavily dependent, as you'll see from the chart, on public transport. There has been some concern about congestion and Euler's charges, and we will need to bear that in mind when planning events in the future. Certainly the tea dance that we had just before we were all confined to our homes, and that was very popular, and it was a fabulous day. So that's something that we will look at in the future, and also how people continue to get to events and what they think about the ease of access. Ease of access to the internet has been incredibly important to us all this last year. 95% of us have access to the internet, but 13% are still most comfortable receiving branch news by post, which is quite understandable, and it really does underline the importance of the reel and reinforces the work that Meryl and Ian and Stephen have done over the years, and Simon and the editorial team have picked up more recently. We looked at the different communication tools in the branch, and we asked how much people used it and what they thought about it. And by and large, obviously the reel got the most responses, and people enjoy the paper copy. And I do empathise with them there. It's just great opening the reel and flicking through and looking at various parts of it. The website's used by 65% of the branch, and the e-update about 50% of people use, with Twitter, Facebook enjoying increasing usage. I know many teachers kept in contact with their dancers over lockdown, and we got a lot of appreciative comments within the feedback to the survey about how much that meant to people, that they were being kept together as a community. When we read the reel, what do we do? Well, 41% of us immediately read it cover to cover, whilst another 45% read the articles that interest them. What do we look at? Pictures. Clearly, I'm not the only person who opens the centre spread immediately and has a look and sees what's going on. London branch news, people and personalities. And in fact, there's very little in the reel that isn't read assiduously by a good proportion of membership. We then looked at the use of the website, and it's clear here that the main use of the website, the benefit of the website is its immediacy, which means that people want to find out about dances, about the day school. They go to the website to get a link for a dance crib, to see a past copy of the reel, or to see what's going on in South East dances. It's also very useful for membership information, and it's going to play a bigger and bigger role in our communication needs as we move on into the future. That's a very swift whiz through the information that we've had so far. Once again, really appreciate the time everybody took to fill the information in. The committee is working on this in cooperation with others throughout the branch, and it will form the basis of our plans as we move into the next season and hopefully start dancing again. So on that note, I will hand over to Simon as Treasurer.
Thank you very much, Joanne. Contrary to previous years, there's been obviously slightly less to report on because there were no dances, classes, children's activities. demonstration team wasn't out, so the main activities have been keeping the reel going and the membership income. So the branch's total net worth has increased to 74,461. You'll see that there on the screen compared to last year. And if you do want the full set of accounts, they are on the branch website for those who haven't yet seen them. Net incoming resource in a company, that would be the net profit for the year, amounts to nearly £4,000, 3,957. And that's mainly because the activities which normally cost money in terms of education and publicity just weren't happening. But the branch has committed to keep that money to plough back into dancing. So it just doesn't go into reserves, but that is gone into a separate fund. So we actually have 4,000 to spend on promoting and developing activities in this forthcoming year. Last year, you see, we were very close to the break-even budget of £173 profit. Our investments, well, we made an unrealised gain in our investments this year of 9,568 compared to a loss last year of 11,869. We haven't quite recovered to where we were before last year, but we are back on track for the investments to recoup those losses. I was asked last year what I thought the prospects were, and I thought it would take more than 1 year, and it looks like it will be, but we are on track for that to recover. So the value of our Charity Fund investments now stands at £50,872. The difference between our total net worth and the Charity Fund investments is the money that we hold in the current account for day-to-day activities. Turning to subscriptions, we are extremely grateful, of course, to all those members who have been renewing their subscriptions this past year, and hope that others will follow again next year. As you'll see, the London share of subs received has actually increased. This, I think, partly, there's two reasons for this, partly because we have more second branch London members now, but also because of the reduction in the amount we pay over to HQ as a result of the AGM decision in Perth 2 years ago now, the last time we were able to meet in person, that the branch could keep £2 more of the subscription, which is paid over. It used to be £20 per member, single member that is, and it's now 18 we have to pay over to HQ. That has realised just over £400 in this last year for us to put into activities and promotion and publicity was the rationale from HQ. £400 for quite a big branch. I mean, that will pay for a couple of classes. Certainly it won't pay for one use of a hall, but we can put it towards something promotionally. Moving on to the reel, which was the only other activity. Not surprisingly, this has cost the branch money this year. This is mostly because the advertising revenue just wasn't there to cover the costs. As you see, last year, it just about broke even. This year, despite printing fewer pages, the advertising revenue just wasn't there to cover the costs, but we thought it was more important for the branch to carry on in contact with members through the reel. And thanks to everybody who's contributed and supplied pictures and things just to keep this going until we can all get back dancing again. I was very pleased to be able to put in advertisements for future dances in this reel, which has just come out, and hopefully they will in fact take place and generate some live current pictures for us to enjoy in future editions. So that basically is it in terms of the presentation on the accounts. The other items haven't really changed. I mean, the funds we have, that's 76,070, that incoming resource total net worth is made up of various funds, including the Ireland Fund, the Anniversary Fund, the Wilson Lickle Fund, all monies which have been made available to us over the years. And in April just gone, no, it's May, I think in May just gone, we have received an additional fund, or some money to go into an additional fund from the estate of the late Helen Brown, who left us some money, which will go into an earmarked fund as well. So that has increased our resources too, and we're looking at that to help with the digitisation of the archives. So really, that's all from me for the accounts. If there are any questions, then please do put them in the Q&A. And I'll give you a couple of seconds to put something in that for us to look at. Oh, I see there's. Can't see a flood of questions coming in, which is good and it's bad. I've heard the board you all silly and you're all falling off your chairs, or they're all so clear that no one has any questions. So if that's the case and you are still there, then please can I ask for a proposer and a seconder. I should also thank, before we do that, I'd like to thank Robert Elliott, who's the independent examiner, who does an awful lot more than just checking the figures to pull these into a shape for submission and presentation. So thanks to Robert. So if I could ask for a proposer to accept these accounts and a seconder by raising your hands in the time-honoured way.
Okay, we've got Gail Bignell, Panna Montoli Allen, Jim Henderson, Chris Hood, Stephen Webb. We have a wealth of proposers and seconders.
Thank you very much. In years gone by, it was always Mary Barker, but sadly she's unable to attend online. So it's nice to have replacements. Thank you very much, everybody. And there's the poll for you to formally approve the accounts. Approve the accounts as 2020-21. You just click on the appropriate button. Oh, I'm keeping up the 100% record. That's a relief. Thank you very much, everybody. And thanks to Joanne for producing the slides in such a clear and readable way.
I think Simon is handing over to Mel.
I'm handing over to Mel.
Thank you.
Apparently.
Thank you. We now move on to the appointments, and as we did last year, I'm going to run through the three groups and ask you to vote for all of the three groups at the end. So thank you. Joanne, my screen's gone a little bit blurred. I'm so sorry. I can't read what's on there.
I think it's Joanne's Wi-Fi, possibly.
Apologies if it is. Okay, so first of all, we want to confirm the appointment of the Honorary President and the Honorary Vice Presidents. Honorary President, we're delighted Rachel Wilton will stay as President for another year, and equally delighted that the Honorary Vice Presidents, Mary Barker, Rosemary Tilden, Jenny Green, Daniel Reinstein and Jerry Reinstein will also stay in office. Has your screen cleared now, or shall I carry on?
No, I'm so sorry, it's still blurred. I do apologise.
We then move on to the appointments of the officers and committee of management. So these were put out for, there was a call for nominations earlier this year, which closed on the 31st of March. And we had no more nominations than there were positions to fill. So the committee and officers for this year: Chair Joanne Lawrence, Vice Chair Jim Cook, Treasurer Simon Wales, Honorary Secretary Mel Rowland, and committee members without whom everything would fall apart: Margaret Shaw, Jenny Kendrick, George Potts, Thelma J. Robb, Elaine Davis, and Margaret Moore. The third point for the appointments is to confirm the appointment of the independent examiner, Robert Elliott, who has provided such excellent support for many years now in confirming our accounts. So could we have some people to propose and second acceptance of these appointments. I see.
Yes, so we've got Chris Hood, Stephen Webb. I was just seeing if there's anybody else.
Anne Archbold.
Anne Archbold, yes.
Thank you very much.
Very much.
You can put your hands down now and we will launch the poll. So there are 3 questions on this to answer, 1 for each set of appointments.
And so we have 100% all the way through. That's excellent. Well, thank you very much, Joanne, for that. And that brings us on to the appointment of branch proxy delegates to the Society AGM. Hopefully this will take place in Perth on Saturday, the 6th of November. And our management committee are delegates to the AGM, but if any of them can't attend, we shall need proxy delegates. What with all the uncertainty in the world, time will tell how many of our committee members attend. But if you think you may be attending the AGM and would be happy to be considered as a proxy if need be, then do please click on the hands up symbol now and we'll make a note and we'll be in touch in due course if need be.
Okay, we have Stephen Webb. See if there's anybody else. So I think
we have Peter Knight as well, not able to raise his hand on screen.
Okay.
Panelist. That's fine.
Thank you.
Okay, so they're duly noted and will be in touch in due course. And that brings us to any other business. If there are any other items of any other business, do please make them known through the Q&A. Last call for any other business.
In which case I will raise some any other business as we come to the end of the AGM. We'd like to say thank you to Jim, who has been chair of the branch for the last 2 years. And I think it's no exaggeration to say they have been a very challenging 2 years. It's hard enough being a chair of anything when you've got events to manage, but when you have to maintain, motivate and engage people with no events, it's a difficult task. But we're very grateful to Jim for everything that he has done, and we are delighted that he has agreed to stay on the committee and will take on the role of vice chair, supporting the work that we do as a branch in getting us all dancing again in the next year, which we are looking very much forward to. So on a personal and on behalf of the management committee and members, Jim, thank you very much. We really couldn't have done without you. This is where we would normally make a small presentation to Jim. Can't do it physically, but with a little bit of magic, it has miraculously appeared in Jim's phone, and that is with affection and thanks from all of us.
Yes, as Joanne has been speaking, I have a high-tech 3D printer here, and I see it's been purring away and has miraculously produced this little box with a quake in it engraved. So thank you very much indeed. And in fact, I just happen to have something to hand in a little while. So I thank the branch very much for this gift. It is a very kind thought, but I only accept it on one condition, namely that the whole committee and all those key people helping outside of the committee agree to morally receive it as well, because everything the branch has achieved in these difficult times is attributable to them. I thank them one and all. But I admit to one personal success. You may recall that 2 AGMs ago, the position of vice chair was recreated, but it was not until the last AGM that the position was actually filled by Joanne. The branch immediately struck gold as it benefited from Joanne's obvious initiative, enthusiasm and ability. Joanne's chairing of the essential and newly created communication subgroup is just one shining example. Now, it may seem strange that I have demoted myself to vice chair whilst Joanne steps up to be chair. Well, it is obvious that in a perfect world, the role of chair ideally needs a person with a number of simultaneous and different abilities. Cutting a long story short, Joanne shines in the areas where I tend to struggle and vice versa. And I'm happy that I had the brainwave of suggesting to Joanne that we swap roles so that we complement each other's plus points at the top end of the team. So here is to the future, and let us hope that, Boris permitting, we have a full and successful year ahead of us. Cheers to you all.